Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. This is Engineer Masood Sarkiani, and our technical session is today is 99. Our subject is deck concrete slab in buildings and the bridges. So we will discuss about the deck concrete slab material and why it is required and the different features of this material. So before going ahead, I would like to request you to subscribe, press the bell icon, like it, share it in order to reach the next video with the easy access. So let us go to the subject. What is the concrete deck slab? Concrete deck slab or also hollow core is one of the concrete deck slab in the commercial buildings and the bridges as well. The hollow core slab perforated and the prefabricated floor elements made is the pre-stressed concrete. They are used for the basement floor, roof, ceiling in residential building and the commercial building also. A slab deck is one there the deck is analyzed as a plate. If the slab has a stiffness that is different in two directions at right angle, then the deck is known as the analyzed as the orthopic deck. So, what is the minimum thickness of the deck? It should be in different scenarios. The specification required that the minimum thickness of the deck, excluding any provision and the grinding, proving the superficial surface should not be less than 7 inches. S9.7.1.1. This is the code. Where the deck slab is used, the deck slab is generally used for small scale steel buildings and the monitors as it was mentioned before. So how do we calculate the concrete if need for the deck slab? This is just for the example. The concrete formula calculation is below. Number one is determine how thick the concrete slab is, measure the length and the width of the cover, multiply the length by width to determine the square footage, convert the thickness from inches to feet, and multiply the thickness in feet by the square footage to determine the cubic foot, which is the most common generic. So what is the concrete deck? Concrete deck is versatile and you can also make the variety of design from it. Unlike the other decks materials, concrete decking can be custom made to fit the design and to look the stone pavers. Concrete pavers are also even ceramic pavers also. The fluid natural of concrete before the curves also it can be formed into many shapes as the customer requirement. What types of the curve is used in the bridges decks? High performance concrete HPC has been used in many status of construction of the bridges deck. What are the bridges deck made of? Steel bridge decks also used in the United States as a corrugated steel bridge planks for beams to truss bridge, and these can be later filled with the asphalt and the concrete for the traffic and another common type of steel deck to open grid steel bridges, flooring, etc. So these decks also very common and are easily to install wherever it is required. So what are the advantage of the deck slab bridges? Foam work is simpler and the less costly. advertisement, the smaller thickness of the deck therapy, uh, reducing the heights of the fill and consequently most of the approaches similar arrangement of the reinforcement. So how thick is the deck of the bridges? For new bridges, the construction used 8 inches, also minimum bridge deck thickness for bridge replacement elevation and then 8 inches minimum deck thickness and also affect the overall structural system and the structural requirement on the load requirement as per the site situation and the structure integrity. What are the strengths concrete in used for the bridges? The precast, pre-stressed concrete bridges feel the specified compressive strength is the 41 megapascal, 600 psi. The bridge grids girders also has been used for the many years. How strength and the release have been controlled. The concrete mix designed so that actual strength at 28 days is 41 megapascal. So, what is the bridge deck overlays? Bridge deck overlays are mostly often used on the existing bridge when their decks require the rehabilitation for lack of the coverage of the decks, steel reinforcement in case. However, the bridge decks overlays can be applied for the several applications and the variety of the different reasons. How the bridge decks can be built. Concrete decks bridges are mostly sound like flat roadway surface made of the proud concrete that is laid in section and the large bridges are in the fell swept of small bridges. These steel beams also laid in the concrete and provides the strength and the flexibility that is the thickness of the concrete decking. So far, the should be thick should be concrete uh, fashion. Mostly the concrete patties, and the other concrete slabs are the 4 inches. The buildings codes across the country usually require the thickness of even in old times 3.5 inches and the compressive strength 3000 psi. But that is for the small houses and the residential building, which are the G plus one or two. And which cement is the recommended for the ordinary Portland cement is recommended for the deck preparation and it is suitable for the general concrete construction. It is also mostly common produce the use types of the cement around the world with the annual global production of around 3.8 million cubic meters per year. So what is the concrete deck? Concrete deck is versatile and you can also make a variety of design for it. Unlike other decking materials, concrete decking can be custom made to fit the design and the place of the erection. The concrete pavers are also even ceramics and the whatever the architectural beautification made is also it can be easily fitted here. The built nature of the concrete before its courses allowed to be formed to the any of the shapes it can be made. So how is the heavy of the bridge decks? The weight of the bridge decks of aluminum alloy is 3.5 457 tons, whereas the weight of the deck using steel is 67.02 tons. So this is the very heavy, and the load it can be sustained by very easy way. So what is the steel roof deck? Also, there is steel roof deck also beneath the roof deck. The structural concrete, the roof deck are commonly uh, topside insulated using adhered insulation panel and cost the place of the lightweight insulating concrete, structural concrete, composite deck, and the supported steel panels deck system filled the normal weight of the structural lightweight concrete. How do we can calculate the concrete for the deck slab? There are certain points. First is determine uh, how much you want the concrete, then measure the length and the width like the cover and the thickness, multiply the length by the width and determine the square footage. Uh, Convert the thickness from the inches to the feet and the multiply the thickness to the feet in square storage to determine the cubic feet. So this was the mostly uh, use the material except the steel, but the steel should be some specified grade, either it is the 40 grade, 60 grade, or it is with coupling or without coupling, whatsoever the design requirement and the local buildings code requires, it should be implemented very strictly on the design basis. So uh, this is it can be designed it's for uh, around the 100 years. So the strength, the durability, and the quality of the concrete should be very, very strong, and there will be no compromise the quality of concrete and all the materials for the deck slab because it's bearing the loads, especially in the bridges, the traffic and the other loads, heavy equipments are moving all the times, so it should be sustainable. So this was the briefing about the deck for the buildings and the bridges. And in the next video, we will see each other with another subject. Thank you very much and have a nice day.